Hi, welcome to Cichlid Heaven. Hopefully my voice will hold out for this, but we had another exciting week at the school aquarium. On, I believe it was Sunday, the custodian called me and said we had a leak at the school aquarium. And so I was pretty darn worried about that school aquarium because, frankly, I thought maybe the fish would all die and something terrible would happen, but luckily they were able to unplug everything, and they left it for me to come figure out on Monday. So I came in today and looked at it, and fortunately for me, they unplugged all the pieces that had water all over them. And the problem was one of the wave makers had been aimed a little too high, so that when the water level dropped low over about the 2 or so week school break, the water level dropped low, the water started to shoot out of the aquarium, ran down the cords, and it shorted out the wave maker and a couple of other things. Luckily, no permanent damage. When I got there today, things were all dried out and things were looking, not too terribly bad, except for the filter hadn't been running for 24 hours. So luckily for me, I didn't have to replace any equipment for the school aquarium, and it was just a regular cleanup day at the school. However, I noticed at the top of the aquarium there, if you look real closely, you'll see that FX6 is got a very pathetic output of water, and it definitely needed a good cleaning. So for those of you who are not really excited about watching me clean an FX6 filter, by all means skip over the next couple of minutes because it was a pretty dirty filter. Anyway, there's the inside of the cabinet, and if you see the mildew and the moist wood in there, it's not looking good. So put the FX6 in the mop room here and cleaned it out. So if you're ever cleaning FX6, it's a pretty easy process, really. You're going to unscrew the cap, you're going to take out the center sponges and all that stuff. And for me, I'm very picky about how I clean filters. I only clean the filter sponges and material out in tank water. So that way I don't introduce any chlorine or city water chemicals that haven't been made safe. So I run the water over the inner parts, just rinse them out slightly, and then I squeeze out the sponges. So I'll let you watch that process there. If you haven't seen that done before, if it doesn't interest you, again, you can fast forward through this part of the video. So, yeah, and that thing, I'm telling you, it really, really was filthy. The FX6 has inner sponges and outer sponges. The coarse sponges go on the bottom layers of the canister filter, and the fine sponge goes on the top layer. The outer sponges are all the same, so there's 6 outer sponges that fit into each side of that round filter there, and each one gets fitted into the sides of the filter. And the water basically runs up, down through the sides, up through the center, and out through the top. So the last thing to reach it would be the fine filter on the top. So whatever you put in the top of an FX6 filter would be your finest filtration. So anyway, so I'm putting it back in here, and I've got a particular technique for filling this up without having to put any water in the FX6 filter. When I take the filter off, all I do is unplug the filter, shut off the valve, and pull those valves off. Now, when I start it, I put the valve on, the in valve on, and then I count to about 15. Wait till the pitch of the water flowing in is a little bit louder, and I pop on the right hand, or I should say the out valve. So anyway, you see the water bubbling out the top there. You can see that the water level is a little bit low, so I'm going to top off the tank before I do anything else. So the water flow for the FX6 is now flowing really well. Instead of that paltry little bit of water, we've got a nice strong flow. One of the ways that you can tell the FX6 is needing cleaning is just because you have a reduced water flow. If it stops entirely, you probably waited too long. So I would recommend you just watch for reduced flow on your FX6 if you do happen to have that type of filter. The water runs, it stops for a minute, and then it starts again. So if you're restarting one of these filters, they have a minute run, a minute stop, approximately, and then it starts to run constantly again. The FX6 is programmed to stop once every 24 hours for about a minute period. So anyway, I got the auto feeders filled. I repositioned the wavemakers in a better spot this time. And since school is starting tomorrow, I wanted to make sure the aquarium was extra clean. So I got the glass cleaned off. I cleaned up the tops. The tops tend to accumulate a little bit of algae, and so I always like to clean those off every couple months. And then this is the plug from the wavemaker. There's a lot of black residue on it, and the cord is partially melted, but it's not melted all the way through. So I plugged it in and it worked fine. Hopefully I don't regret that decision. I don't, by the way. At the time the FX6 failed, I had the undergravel filter still running, as I always do, and I'm really grateful that I did that. Frankly, every time one thing fails, if there's not something, a backup, then you're not doing yourself any favors. So I started a floor fan going here. I'm going to leave that running overnight before the kids get back to school tomorrow, so that we can hopefully have everything completely dry and ready to go. The fish didn't seem any worse for their adventure. Everybody looked really, really good today. There was one fish lost over the break. I actually have no idea what fish it was. I think every fish that I could think of is accounted for, but there was a fish found that had jumped out. So I didn't ever get to see what the body was, but we're one fish short. So all in all, over a 2.5-week Christmas holiday, I feel lucky that it wasn't any worse than it was. With that wavemaker aimed upward the way it was, it could have really, really had spelled catastrophe. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I put that wavemaker back on, I didn't aim it that high. Have a great day, like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.